The swimsuits were horrible quality, they were expensive, they had nothing to them, no support.
While it's, you know, not the best. Okay, that piece is a little better. Not out of this world quality by any means. I'm not seeing any full-on like holes or super loose threads like she was. Well, maybe I spoke too soon. And it's safe to say it's not just isolated incidents, because the Kylie Swim comment section on Instagram went from please restock to not so positive.
It has nearly been an entire year since we last talked about Kylie Jenner's clothing brand, Kai. And trust me, the silence hasn't been because the brand slowed down on releases. Quite the opposite. Kai has still been churning out new drops, pretty much monthly, like clockwork.
First of all, the fact that we just have like the lining on the inside, no cuffs, no built-in bra, and it just feels like everything is dragging down. It's just like completely squished me down. I put in some cups in here just for something, but I'm not feeling lifted. I'm not feeling flattered up here.
But with all that output, I figured now was the perfect time to circle back and ask the big question. Has anything actually improved? Because the last time we talked about Kai, the picture wasn't pretty. Reviews were brutal.
So as a past victim of Kylie Swim, I wanted to see if Kylie redeemed herself with Kai Swim, so let's try it. I just like don't know what's going on with this one. First of all, this was so difficult to get on. I pinched my skin multiple times. Now that I'm looking at it, I thought it looked good, but it's doing something so weird at the hip area here. It's just a very long corset top. It's just like, I don't understand. Also, this top is unlined. It's one single layer of fabric, which is just how Kylie Swim was, so we haven't completely escaped that. The boning areas kind of like stick out at the bottom a little bit, so it's just not super comfortable. I feel like it goes down pretty far in the back, and I'm 5'9" with a long torso, so this is gonna be going like onto your butt if you have a shorter torso than me, which is like most people. Honestly, the top has more coverage than like any of the other tops today, so that's a win. And this is the mini swim skirt. It's literally just like a tube. There's no bottoms under this. You have to wear your own bottoms. And I like that it's made of a swim material, so you could go swimming in this and it's just like a little extra layer for coverage, but I just don't know how well it's going to stay up. So it just doesn't look like I'm about to go swimming.
Customers complained about quality. There were repeated accusations of stealing designs from smaller independent brands. And on top of all that, they were overwhelming buyers with non-stop product launches. So much so that fans couldn't even keep up, let alone get excited for anything new. It was giving fast fashion with a celebrity name, and not in a good way. So, has the ship been righted, or are we still looking at the same storm?
Help me decide if I keep or return this Kai faux fur long coat. It's so glam, but I can't tell if it's like overpowering and like, ooh, bear attacked you, you know? I love it open. This collar doesn't stay down, but that's okay maybe. And then here is it tied up, which is so cozy. But is like mob wife or like a little, I'm a bear.
Spoiler alert. From what I've seen, it's still messy. Over the past year, the criticism toward Kai hasn't let up. The complaints have ranged from the fit and quality of the pieces to how they seem to borrow heavily, and I mean heavily, from smaller creators and designers who don't have the resources to fight back. Entire Twitter threads and TikTok breakdowns have been dedicated to side-by-side comparisons, and more than once, the similarities have been suspiciously close.
So I thought it would be cute to get the new Kai coat drop. Who is this supposed to fit? This is an extra small. Kylie, come on. Not all of us are 10 feet tall. Like, this is actually ridiculous.
Then there's the bigger problem. Nothing about the brand feels iconic. The initial launch of Kai was pitched as Kylie's way of making luxury-inspired, designer-level fashion more accessible, sort of like a middle ground between high-end runway pieces and affordable price tags.
And some comments were pointing out that the creator is 5 foot, so that's why it looks so big. But another creator reviewed it and said that she's 5'8" and found the coat to be extremely heavy.
That vision, if it ever really existed beyond the marketing pitch, seems to have faded fast. Instead, the brand's focus appears to have shifted toward pumping out as many drops as possible, as quickly as possible, to grab the most cash while the name still carries hype.
Got the new Kai fur jacket and wanted to show it to you guys. Visually it doesn't look that bad aside from the fact that it's so big. I got a size large XL, but you can see the fur definitely looks a little dyed, which makes sense. I mean, it is polyester or whatever, but the main thing is it literally feels like a 10-pound jacket. Like when I wear it for over a minute, it starts to feel heavy on me. And I literally feel like I can't breathe and it's claustrophobic. So this will be going back, but let me know what you guys think and if anyone got it. But honestly, unimpressed and probably not gonna order from them again.
It's the classic strike while the iron is hot mentality. Except here, the iron might already be cooling. And that's the thing. When you think of Skims, you can probably name 2 or 3 products instantly. Whether you like Kim Kardashian or not, she has managed to make certain pieces, like the Fits Everybody collection or the sculpting bodysuits, staples in people's wardrobes. They've become part of pop culture. Kai, on the other hand, the only items anyone really remembers are the ones that got caught up in controversy. There's no must-have piece. There's no universally loved staple. It's just noise. And unless you read on PR lists or you read a YouTuber who bought a haul to spill tea on the quality, you probably haven't even seen much of Kai in the wild. One of the biggest letdowns, hands down, has to be Kylie's swimwear release. Now you'd think swimwear would be an easy win for Kylie. She has been photographed in bikinis more times than we can count. She's got the social media presence to sell anything summer-related and the fan base to match. But the execution? Rough. From odd cuts that didn't flatter anyone, to fabric that looked cheap and felt worse, the feedback was harsh. People called it out for being overpriced, uncomfortable, and in some cases, downright unwearable. And unlike Skims, which managed to turn initial criticism into better designs and viral success, Kai just kind of shrugged and moved on to the next drop, leaving the bad reviews in its wake. Another major issue is the release schedule itself. By pumping out so many drops, Kai has created this constant churn of new product that doesn't allow anything to gain traction. Fans barely have time to see, process, and maybe consider buying something before the next launch is already being teased. It's overwhelming. And worse, it creates this perception that the brand is focused on quantity over quality, which is basically the kiss of death for a clothing label trying to position itself as elevated. And let's not forget, Kylie Jenner isn't just any celebrity. She's a billionaire with endless resources, the connections to work with the best designers and factories in the world, and a marketing machine that most brands could only dream of. Yet somehow, Kai still feels like it's just there. Not leading trends, not defining a niche, and definitely not creating that it girl energy that sticks. The sad part? The concept had potential. A pared-down high-fashion meets streetwear line with accessible price points could have carved out a lane of its own. But instead of cultivating a recognizable identity or investing in standout pieces that people will talk about for years, Kai seems content to be a revolving door of forgettable releases. And for a brand backed by one of the most famous women in the world, that's a red flag. In fact, it makes me wonder, is Kylie even invested in the long game here? Or is this just another celebrity cash grab to ride out for a couple years before quietly letting it fade? Because right now, the only headlines Kai seems to generate are about controversy, not creativity. Back in July, Kylie announced she was releasing her very first swimwear collection under Kai. This was a big deal. Not just another drop, but a redemption arc in the making. Why? Because let's be honest, the last time Kylie dipped her toe into the swimwear market, back in 2021 with Kylie Swim, it was nothing short of a train wreck. People still talk about it as one of the biggest flops in Kardashian business history. The swimsuits were painfully low quality, despite having luxury price tags. The fabric was see-through when wet, the stitching was sloppy, the cuts were awkward, and there was almost zero support in any of the designs. It didn't help that the whole line seemed tailored exclusively to fit Kylie's body type, which, let's remember, is the product of expensive cosmetic work and not exactly representative of the average customer. Reviews poured in calling the pieces unwearable, impractical, and grossly overpriced. Within months, the brand vanished like it had never existed, becoming a cautionary tale of celebrity hubris in the fashion world. So when Kai announced its swim collection, the stakes were high. This was Kylie's chance to prove she had learned from her mistakes, to deliver something that was stylish, functional, and worth the money. But right from the start, the execution raised eyebrows. First problem, the timing. Kylie didn't release the swimwear until July. By that point, most major brands were already shifting their focus to fall collections and back-to-school marketing. In the swimwear world, peak launch season is March or April, right before spring break and early summer vacations. Dropping in mid-July meant Kai was basically selling bikinis at the tail end of the season when people have already bought their suits. Some fans even questioned whether this was a lazy afterthought rather than a strategically planned launch. Second problem, the pricing. Nearly $60 for a bikini top, another $60 for the bottoms, and a whopping $145 for a sheer slipover dress. That's a steep ask for a brand that originally marketed itself as designer-inspired pieces at a more affordable price. If the quality had been phenomenal, maybe the prices could be justified, but based on reviews, it wasn't. Customers reported the same issues they saw with Kylie Swim: flimsy materials, awkward fits, and pieces that looked better in carefully edited promotional photos than they did in real life. And then came the pièce de résistance, the infamous swim corset. On paper, it sounds like a bold editorial-style piece you'd wear to a fashion-forward pool party. But in practice, it left people confused, annoyed, and in some cases concerned. The number one question in the comments: who is wearing a corset to the beach? Even more, the safety concerns were real. Swimming in a tight, structured corset can restrict movement and limit lung capacity, two things you really don't want when you breathe in water. Social media users were quick to point this out. Many felt the swim corset was just a gimmick, a flashy, impractical piece meant to go viral on Instagram, but not actually serve customers. And that criticism tapped into a deeper frustration fans have had with Kai. The idea that Kylie is designing for aesthetics alone, with zero thought to practicality or the customer experience. But the missteps didn't end with swimwear. Shortly after, Kai launched its holiday collection, a lineup of sequin dresses, tops, and shorts meant for party season. On paper, a holiday drop should be an easy win. People are actively shopping for festive outfits, and Kylie has the influence to set trends. But instead, the response was lukewarm at best, brutal at worst. The most common criticism? The pieces looked cheap. Over and over again, people compared the designs to Forever 21, and not in a nostalgic, fun way. Even fans who wanted to like the collection were put off by the pricing. Sparkly mini dresses were going for well over $100, yet the fabric looked thin, the sequins sparse, and the cuts basic. There was nothing unique about the designs. No bold tailoring, no interesting silhouettes, nothing that felt like luxury at an affordable price. Instead, it was basic party wear with a premium price tag because Kylie's name was attached. This lack of distinctiveness has become Kai's biggest issue. It's not that the clothes are terrible. Plenty of people buy them and they're wearable enough. But there's no it factor. There's nothing that sets them apart from dozens of other mid-tier brands doing the exact same thing. And when Kylie AD's competitors, from Skims to Zara to even Revolve HS in-house labels, are consistently offering standout pieces or viral moments, Kai's forgettable designs start to fade into the background. The frustrating part is that Kylie has every advantage in the world to make Kai a standout brand. She has access to the best stylists, designers, factories, and marketing teams. She has an enormous platform to promote her products, and she has the capital to invest in quality materials and production. Yet time and again, the brand feels rushed, underdeveloped, and more interested in quantity than in creating something memorable. The swimwear drop and the holiday collection both could have been defining moments for Kai, opportunities to win back critics and carve out a real identity in the market. Instead, they've only reinforced the perception that this is just another celebrity cash grab. And if Kai keeps missing the mark like this, even Kylie's name might not be enough to keep it afloat. This collection is literally so atrocious. I'm so disappointed. She also previewed a pair of shorts from the collection, and the reaction was brutal. Many fans pointed out how impractical they were, with one person writing, "The shorts will be a thong for 90% of us." And honestly, they're not wrong. It feels like this is a reoccurring issue with Kai. The designs seem tailored to Kylie's exact body shape and aesthetic, without much consideration for the wide range of customers who might actually buy and wear them. It's like practicality never makes it into the design meeting. Instead, the goal seems to be creating something that will photograph well on Kylie's Instagram, whether or not it actually works in real life. And that's a dangerous strategy for any brand that's supposed to be building a loyal customer base. Another launch that stirred controversy was her faux fur coats, dropped back in January. Initially, these coats were a rare win for Kai in the public eye. People loved the idea of Kylie going cruelty-free, and the promo shots were undeniably stunning. The coats looked chic, expensive, and perfect for the winter season. But once customers actually received them, the praise turned into disappointment almost overnight. The number one complaint? They looked and felt cheap. One comment bluntly read, "It looks cheap," while another said, "Returning mine. It looks like an oversized bathrobe." Others said the coat was massive, to the point where it overwhelmed the person wearing it. And this wasn't just petite customers saying so. While some pointed out that Kylie is only around 5 feet tall, even taller buyers, like one reviewer who is 5'8", complained that the coat was unnecessarily huge and extremely heavy. Instead of feeling like a statement piece, many said it felt like wearing a rug. And when you're charging a premium price for a fashion item, the last thing you want is customers comparing it to household decor. And I don't know, for $250, it kind of looks like something you would find at Forever 21. I just feel like Kylie could have done so much better here, made something that still stayed cruelty-free with the faux fur, but also looked luxurious enough to justify the price tag. Instead, what we got was an oversized, awkwardly heavy coat that felt more like a novelty purchase than a wardrobe staple. So I think it's safe to say Kai hasn't seen many improvements since we last talked about it a year ago. The same issues keep popping up. Questionable quality, questionable pricing, questionable design choices, just with different products and different seasons. The popular opinion right now is that Kai feels less like a serious fashion label and more like Kylie A.'s personal side project. Someone on Reddit put it perfectly. Honestly, it's giving hobby, not even for profit, just an excuse for photo shoots and something for her to do. And that really does sum it up. It's such a sharp contrast to Kylie Cosmetics, where you could feel her excitement in every launch during the early years. Back then, she was actively engaging, promoting, and clearly invested in the success of the brand. And that effort paid off. Kylie Cosmetics became a billion-dollar name. But with Kai, it feels like she saw how successful Kim's Skims brand became and thought, I can do that too. The problem is she's doing it without the same focus, innovation, or attention to detail. The launches feel rushed, the designs feel recycled, and the collections seem more about aesthetic photo shoots than giving customers something truly worth their money. And honestly, in an industry this competitive, you can't just coast on your celebrity status forever. People will forgive 1 or 2 lackluster drops, but if the trend continues, customers will move on to brands that actually care about quality and originality. So, will Kai survive the next few years? Maybe. But if Kylie keeps treating it like a casual pastime instead of a serious business, it might fade out faster than Kylie Swim. And we all know how that ended. Anyway, I want to know what you guys think. Have you bought anything from Kai? Was it worth the price? Or did it leave you disappointed? And do you see this brand sticking around, or is it already on borrowed time? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.